Wanted to start by just showing you the design here. This is what the chapter pages and committee pages will look like. Just insert, your committee or chapter page, your name at the top there, and you'll be able to have kind of a hero image. There's this very faint scale in the background here that can be replaced by a hero image, like what you see when you go to the Law Society main page. This is actually the dev site and what it looks like right now. This is the actual website, but you can have a hero image like this big image across the top and a special message there. If you have, if you collect dues through your chapter, and most chapters don't collect dues, but some of you do, we don't have a way to integrate very directly with your whatever due system you use, but say if you're using PayPal or Stripe, if you want to have a button that takes someone to where you will take care of that, then you can add that to your committee or chapter page. But this is the basic design, and I'll show you where it's at right now. So I'm going to look at the South Africa chapter. We've got a place for upcoming events and recent articles. If there are social groups that you belong to or links that you want to share, you can have those. This get to know chapter members, that will actually auto-populate with just a couple random members from your chapter. So each time you come into the page, you'll see a different random chapter members, assuming you have more than 2 chapter members or more than 2 committee members. Before I go any further in walking through what you'll be able to do to customize these pages and how you'll be able to do that, I just wanted to show you a link that I put in the calendar. Right here, I'm highlighting it. There's this form that just helps us know the next steps for your particular committee or chapter. And depending on who you are, you might not want a chapter-specific or committee-specific page. It just might not make sense for you. The purpose of these pages is like, if you're tempted to build a blog or have a separate page for yourself, anyways, or if you'd like to have one now that it's easier, we can take care of that for you, but by no means is it a requirement. We don't want a bunch of empty pages out there, and we don't want to create a bunch of pages that people aren't really going to use. And so the first question in that survey, or at least the first substantive question, is, would you like a committee-specific or a chapter-specific page for whatever your committee or chapter is? And then if you say no, then you're good to go, and feel free to hop off this call and not worry about this kind of stuff. But if you say yes, then definitely stick around, or if you're thinking maybe at this point, then stick around to see if you'll want to say yes. But just one action item for you coming out of this training is to take a minute, 2 minutes, and just do that quick survey at the end of this call so we know where you're at and we know how we can best help you. So without further ado, we're going to look in at how to build some things out and how you can customize your page. Some of this stuff we take care of for you. It's a one-time thing, so you send us an image for this little icon here. If you've got a picture of people together from your chapter or committee, or a flag or something that you want, or something scenic that represents your area, whatever you want there, you send that to us, we pop it in. If you've got links for social groups, you just email those links to us and we pop them in. And the stuff that you'll really be customizing will be the events and the articles. And so the way that you do that is you'll actually log in through I'm going to log out here just so you can see. It's a different page than the main page, and I'll send you the link to this after for everybody who's interested in building their own pages. You wouldn't log in through this login link here on the front end, which would get you into building out profiles and directories, which, by the way, aren't quite live yet, but will be very soon. So we'll be inviting you all to go in and build your profiles, do some testing in the directory very soon. So you can look forward to that. But for right now, that won't work for you. But when you do the kind of build that I'm showing you today, you don't log in here through the front end. You log in through the back end with a separate link. And so I'm going to show you what it looks like once you log in there. It looks a little bit scary. If you've worked with WordPress before, it's not scary at all, because this is just a basic WordPress built site. But there's two places we're gonna be diving into. We'll look at articles first because they're a little bit more simple, and then we'll go to events, which are a little bit more complicated. And media is just where you can upload images and things like that, but you can also upload them through the articles and events. So I don't really force you needing to click on the media link there. So I'm going to go to articles, and the first thing you might notice here is I've got a lot of grayed out articles and I can view them, but there's no edit button. And that's because I'm logged in as someone who's not the author of these things. And so this is something that should give you some comfort. Only the author of the articles and then admins like those at the law school and, you know, just whoever else that's dealing with technology for the Law Society more generally. Aside from those people, anyone who gets on here and creates articles, I mean, they'll only be able to edit the articles that they make and the events that they make. So you don't have to worry about, you know, if you're in Idaho, someone in Philadelphia going in and not that you would, Russell, go in and just mess with that article, if that makes sense. And so, so I'm just going to hit add new article and just show you from beginning to end how to create an article for your for your chapter or your committee. And so you just need to give it a title, and that will go into the URL. So you just put your title here, and we just put everything in title case. So you want a title case title. You want it to be something that's, you know, just use your, I'm not going to teach you how to like write titles in this or, you know, how to write really good stories. I'm just showing you the technical aspects of it. But this is where you'd put your title. And then you have one key image for every event or article, and that's the banner image. So I'll show you what that looks like on the front end here. If I go and look at the annual conference event, I've got this banner image at the top of some cacti and sage and whatnot. By the way, plug for the annual conference. Registration is now live for the annual conference in February. So you can go and do that. This link is actually broken because it got put in incorrectly because there's this missing backslash here. But, and this will go out in updates and inspiration soon, so you can go register. But here's the registration page for the annual conference, so you can get excited about that. I can't wait for it. I really enjoyed the one in Seattle last year, and I'm excited to get warmed up a little bit toward the end of February when this goes on. So, yep, just a plug for the annual conference. The registration for that's live, and if you go to the old J. Reuben Clark Law Society webpage, there's a link to that. All right, so you choose a banner image. I'm going to just choose one that I made earlier. So you can choose any other images that are already here. It looks like I already uploaded that one, so I'll just delete it so I don't have an extra one in there. But oh, this Banff one looks nice. I've never been to Banff, but sounds nice. And let me see what's going on here. Here we go. Set banner image in this bottom right-hand corner. And your banner image, as you'll see, is you want it to be like 2x1, a longer image for it to look right. And then you're just going to choose here where it's going to publish. So if you're a committee and you want it to publish your committee page, you just hit yes under committee, and then you choose your committee from the list or initiative. If you're a chapter, then you just choose the chapter. So I'm just going to do Africa, West Africa, just for kicks. You can actually publish multiple places if you want. Just make sure you have permission of the committees that or the other chapter that you're publishing on. You can't post to multiple chapters, but you can post to a committee and a chapter and to the home page. So that means everybody everywhere will be able to see this article. So I'm gonna let Todd and the judges committee know about this awesome article. Here's your space for your author here. And then this is where you're gonna put in all your text. So this is your main body. If you want to add images to that, you can. just by hitting add media, and you can add pictures into it. And there's some basic formatting you can play around with that, and the sizing of it. If you need to put in a YouTube video, you want to embed a YouTube video into, whoops. Oh, okay, it's because it's on the left here. If I center this, it'll be a lot easier to do what I'm trying to do. Whoop. Keep deleting it by selecting it and hitting enter. This is what I want to do. So if I want to put a YouTube video underneath here, you can just go to YouTube and grab the URL and go to the J. Reuben Clark Law Society page. So say I want to embed something like this, I would just go up, Control C or right click copy, and just paste that in, and it will embed nicely just like that. So that's how you can get in some text, some media, and write your basic story. At the very bottom, you've got an option to write a tease, and that will be like your sales pitch for the article. So something not too clickbaity, but kind of clickbaity, right? Like you want people to get into this article. And so, and I'll show you where that shows up. So I'm gonna hit publish here on this great article. I'm publishing it to Africa West Africa Judges Committee and to the homepage. I'll hit publish. It takes a little while for it to propagate. If you're at the leadership conference, this is when like the whole site broke down. But now that's no longer the case. The whole site stays up just fine, which is good because that was a major glitch. But if I go to that chapter page, once it's propagated, I'll be able to see that most recent article there. In the meantime, let me just show you what it will look like. So we've got, this is where that tease comes in. So it's just getting people to click. Here's where your title is going to be. And then if you click read more, that will get you in to the article. So this is an example of an article I did just earlier today as another sample. So any questions about building articles before we look at events? Is this easy peasy? If you're feeling lost at all, or if I'm going too fast, or if anything's confusing, please let me know. Because I checked that box to publish it to the main page, once it's propagated in another minute or two, we'll see that right here. It will replace this other one, but it will be associated with the chapter that the story came out of. And so, so it should say Africa, West Africa. Okay, let me show you how to build out an event while we're waiting for that one to propagate. So events are very similar to articles. You just hit add new event instead of add new article. You're going to put in a title just like you would with an article. You're going to choose a banner image. So just some kind of image there that you can upload. I'll give you a couple pointers at the end about image sizing and making them compressed, you know, so they don't eat up all the space on our server, and they don't make the page slow to load. So we do something which is called compress your images to make them small. They'll still look nice, but you want them to be smaller. And so I'll show you what that looks like. And so with this event, you can associate it with the chapter just like we were doing before. So I'm just going to do Africa, West Africa, so you can see that. And I'm going to publish that to the home page too. Then I just choose the start day, and if there is an end day. The start date's required because it helps prioritize when this event should show in the system when you look at all events or on the main page or even on your chapter page. Right now, it doesn't show perfectly how it's supposed to because it's showing October as upcoming events, and so the developers are working on that. But if I wanted to put in the start and end date of November 22nd, November 23rd, that's what I do. For location, what we're looking for there is a link to where it is on like a Google map or any other online map that you want to use. So when people click on it, they'll see exactly where it is. So a couple things to show you here. The URL, that's just going to be whatever you grab from the map. So I'm going to just look at the law school on Google Maps really quick, just to show you. Okay, so I've got J. Reuben Clark Law School here. If I click on it, there's this crazy gobbledygook URL at the top. If I just Control A to highlight all of it and then Control C to copy it, I can paste that URL in here, and then I can put the link text in. So the link, we don't want it to look like gobbledygook. We want to dress it nicely. So we could just say BYU Law School. So that's what it will look like. It will be hyperlinked blue. You know, it'll be the blue hyperlinky color, but it will say BYU Law School. And when you click it, it will take you here. And generally, I think it's a good idea to just click this open link in a new tab so that they're still within the Law Society on another tab if they want to, you know, get around your chapter page. They haven't lost yet. And so open link in new tab. And then this link here is like if you have an RSVP link or a registration link, right? So that's where you would put in like the link to, we were just looking at that CVent event for the annual conference. And so I could copy in a hyperlink for the annual conference and paste that in here as a URL, open link in a new tab, and just say register, or, you know, if it's an RSVP form, you could do that there, or buy tickets, or whatever you want to put in there. And so that will be really helpful. And then you can just flesh out the content of the event. You know, you've got your event description, agenda, whatever. And then you can have a tease just like before to get people clicking on it. And then you're good to go. You can publish it. By the way, you can save a draft and come back and work on it later. So I know you folks are really busy, and it, you know, it might be you work 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. You can save the draft and then just come back anytime. And when you click on the events, you'll be able to see the events that you've created and that are in the draft, and then you can click edit again and publish it. So if I look at all the events, you'll see the difference between the ones I didn't make and the ones I did make, right? This one I can edit, I can toy with because I made it. I'm the author of it. If I go to the mine, I'll just see the ones that I've made. The other ones will be filtered. So I hit publish there, and now let's go back to the website and see how West Africa is looking if that article, the beautiful article we just made, is published. So there it is. Wow, such a good article. So we've got, but let's make sure it didn't show up on any other chapters, right? Does it just go into that one? Yep. So one thing that will be a little different about this is if you don't have content on your page, but you want a page, but you don't publish content regularly. Say you have 1 or 2 articles a year that you put up, or you have 1 or 2 events a year, which is totally fine. Let's say you have that situation. You don't want there to be just like these periods of time with no upcoming events. And so what the system will default to, it's not set up to do just yet, but the plan is that the global, you know, national, international events that you'd find on the main page will come and fill in the gaps here. So the upcoming event would be the upcoming event, you know, for the Law Society more generally. So you could have the annual conference pop up. You could have the fireside pop up. Those will just auto-populate in, so it won't look like your page is dead at any time. But if you want to spice it up with your own chapter-specific or committee-specific events or articles, you can do that, and it will trump, in terms of positioning on this main page, the general content, if that makes sense. I feel like I explained that really horrifically, but hopefully it still made some kind of sense. So with this article I'd written before, you know, I hit read more, I get in to see the image, and there's the YouTube video that I embedded. You can see the author, how that gets put in. So this is all formatted for you. So it makes it quick and easy. I had a bunch of extra spaces here at the end, so that's why there's all that space. Okay, so if I go back in a minute, oh, cool, I've already got the upcoming event that we just made. So you see that populated now. So if I click BYU Law School, it should take me into that map. And that should have taken me to a new window. So I got to look into that, because I think we checked the box that said open in a new window rather than just the window that we're in. So I'll make a note of that for the developer. But you see, it took me to the map, and I could just, get directions really quick. And that's really handy, I think. And so you can put the location of whatever the event is. Just going back to where I was there. If I hit learn more, here's where that register link is. So a little bit more prominent. You can, of course, put links within the content itself. If I wanted to add links within that content, I could just highlight a word and then hit the hyperlink and paste in a link there. And so you can have multiple links for any event or for any article. And but just that main link for the event will just be a little bit more prominent. It'll be right below the dates, and you'll be able to click on that and be taken to the registration page or what have you. So that is the gist of really what you would be doing if you'd like a chapter or committee page. Doesn't have to be you. It could be someone else, on your chapter or committee who's a little bit more tech savvy if you're feeling, or just who has the bandwidth for it. But they'd really just be living in these two tabs here, the articles and events. Setting a new image that's not, already here, you just click upload image, and then you find the file to upload. We want those images to be small. So what I usually use is I use a JPEG compress tool, assuming it's a JPEG. If it's a PNG, like PNG image, then you can find ping compress tools too. There's a million good free ones online, but you just upload the basic image that you have. I may have already compressed this one, so it might not be very helpful in terms of demonstrating, but it will do a little bit of a compression, and this says it's 24% smaller now. And so that will just take up less space. So I can download that and then upload that. You can also resize your images some. You don't need like a 3000 by 2000 pixel image on the web. Usually 1000 by 500 or thereabouts is plenty for the type of resolution people have on their screens, and that will make the images take up less space too. So that is really all I wanted to show you.